Making headlines this hour. President says embracing society's collective role in nurturing and supporting children with autism is a national responsibility. Government outlines proposals for generational tobacco ban. And United Nations dismisses as ridiculous an assertion by Israel that there was enough food in the Gaza Strip to last for a long period of time.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to PSM News in English. I'm your host Ahmad Imad and I'll be continuing with the details for the latest stories. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz states that embracing society's collective role in nurturing and supporting children with autism is a national responsibility, affirming that every child, irrespective of neurological differences, holds equal value and deserves opportunities to flourish. He made the remarks in a social media post published on the occasion of World Autism Awareness Day. Established in 2007, World Autism Awareness Day is observed annually on 2nd April as part of the effort to create awareness, promote understanding and foster acceptance towards children who have autism spectrum disorders, ASD. The day serves as a global call to action, encouraging communities to offer support and inclusion for autistic individuals and their families. Highlighting the unique skills and qualities of children with ASD, President Dr. Muiz described them as possessing exceptional abilities and making meaningful contributions to society. He further noted that nurturing, caring for and supporting children and individuals with autism is a national responsibility that has to be shared by every citizen in the community. This year's World Autism Awareness Day carries the theme Advancing Neurodiversity and the UN Sustainable Development Goals SDGs. It reflects the intersection of autism advocacy with global sustainability initiatives, highlighting the importance of inclusivity and accessibility in achieving quality education, reducing inequalities, and ensuring decent work opportunities. In the Maldives, 168 children with autism are currently registered with the Autism Association of the Maldives, receiving services tailored to their needs. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz visits Liverpool, United Kingdom to participate in the commencement of a Maldives tourism promotion campaign in collaboration with Liverpool Football Club as part of the co-branded initiative with the renowned club and the Maldives Marketing and Public Relations Corporation MMPRC.
On 13th March, MMPRC announced its partnership as the official tourist destination partner for Liverpool FC. This collaboration launches a global campaign spanning 3.5 years designed to amplify brand visibility and inspire more travelers to visit the Maldives. Further strengthening this initiative, MMPRC launched an outdoor campaign in the UK on 27th March to attract visitors through the Liverpool FC partnership. This extensive marketing initiative will run for 3 months, utilizing high-impact outdoor and digital advertising across key locations in the UK. The campaign includes over 100 fully branded taxis in London, along with advertisements on buses, the London Underground, major airports and business class lounges. During this visit, the President will meet with Maldivian students and visit the Liverpool Training Centre, AXA Training Centre, where he will observe best practices in football training and coaching. The aim is to explore ways to incorporate high-performance training methods in the Maldives. Additionally, he will visit Leeds University and Leeds Town Hall, where he will meet with the Councillor of the City of Leeds. During the trip, relevant ministers will meet with senior officials from Redway and the Liverpool FC Academy to discuss joint marketing initiatives to promote tourism and strengthen the partnership between the Maldives and Liverpool FC. The President is accompanied by Tariq Ibrahim, Minister of Tourism and Environment, Abdullah Rafiu, Minister of Sports, Fitness and Recreation, Ibrahim Shiri, Managing Director of MMPRC, and other relevant senior government officials. President Dr. Muiz is expected to conclude his visit and return to Mali on April 5th.
The government amends its cross-subsidy policy to require an investment of at least $100 million for national security projects. The change was made through an amendment to the presidential decree which governs projects eligible for cross-subsidy investment and establishes the minimum investment thresholds applicable on the projects. According to the original presidential decree gazetted on 21st March, the opportunity is open to those who wish to invest in the projects on a cross-subsidy basis. While the decree stated that at least $15 million has to be invested in the projects, the decree has now been amended to increase the amount of minimum investment required for national security projects to $100 million. While the government has planned projects to protect and safeguard the independence, sovereignty and national security of the country, the details of the projects have not been shared thus far. However, the government is working hard to strengthen the Maldives' military capabilities and safeguarding economic interests, and significant progress has been made in these efforts. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz outlines the government's plan to enforce the generational tobacco ban aimed at keeping younger generations away from smoking. During the second episode of Raitu Nayaku, a podcast series designed to engage with the public, address concerns and provide direct responses, the President revealed that the Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim has been tasked with drafting a cabinet paper regarding the recommendations. He emphasized the need for consultation with medical professionals and other stakeholders in drafting the policy. As part of his proposal, the President outlined 3 potential approaches for the ban, which includes prohibiting smoking for all individuals born on or after 1st January 2007, prohibiting smoking for all individuals born on or after 1st January 2004, and prohibiting smoking for all individuals born on or after 1st January 2000. Explaining the rationale behind these options, he stated that focusing on the 18 to 25 age group would make it easier to prevent addiction before it becomes entrenched. During the episode, President Dr. Muiz made a special plea for tobacco traders in the country, urging them to cease selling tobacco products and transition to alternative businesses. The President encouraged people to refrain from smoking and using tobacco products. He explained that the primary objective of increasing tobacco prices was to discourage consumption, emphasizing that gradual tax increases would not effectively reduce usage. Instead, he stated that incremental tax hikes would merely raise retail prices, ultimately benefiting tobacco sellers rather than curbing demand. Reaffirming his call for traders to shift to alternative businesses, the President stressed that the Maldives, with its relatively small population, should not sustain a tobacco industry. He urged decisive action to eliminate the prevalence of tobacco use in the country. The government has been taking landmark steps against tobacco use. One of the biggest measures was to increase the duty on imported cigarettes and the nationwide ban on use and sale of vape products. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz congratulates the Male Water and Sewerage Company MWSC on its 30th anniversary. Acknowledging MWSC's contributions and services in a social media post, the President extended his gratitude to both past and present employees of MWSC.
Since taking office in November 2023, President Muizu has initiated several efforts to improve the quality of water and sewerage services provided by the MWSC. The water storage capacity in the city is currently being increased to 10,000 tons to ensure water security for the public. The work of connecting the water storage plants in Male and Hurumale and building a water network through the Sinmale Bridge is also nearing completion. In addition, 15 sewerage projects are being carried out in different parts of the country. MWSC was established on 1st April 1995 with addressing the water shortage in Male and building a sewerage system being its main objective. Over the past 30 years, the company has expanded its services significantly in many areas and now provides water and sewerage services in several islands in the atolls, in addition to Male City, serving a total population of over 200,000 people. Unlike several government-owned companies, MWSC is able to operate self-sufficiently without relying on the government subsidies. When MWSC began its services in 1995, Male had a population of 60,000. At the time, it had 60 employees and its water production capacity was 900 cubic meters per day, and water storage capacity at 10,000 cubic meters. However, the company today has 1,013 employees and the capacity to produce 47,300 cubic meters of wattage and a storage capacity of 44,858 cubic meters. Although the company was initially intended to only cater to Male, the company now provides services to Vilimale, Hurumale, Gorifaru, Tilafushi, Mafushi of Kafu Atoll, Dua Faru of Ra Atoll, and Kurudu Fushi of Hadal Atoll, covering almost 50% of the country's population. The company also provides electricity and water management services, as well as provides ice to local fishers in Dua Faru of Ra Atoll to generate more profit. Ensuring water security remains one of the company's most important objectives. In addition to MWSC's main water production center in the Greater Male area, 2 water production centers have been established in 2 other areas of Male, decentralizing its operations. Work is also underway to build additional water storage tanks and water plants in Male and Hurumale, with the objective of increasing water production capacity by 26% and water storage by 28% by the end of this year.
Minister of Defense Mohammad Ghassan Mamoun dismisses concerns about the financial impact of President Dr. Mohammad Moiz's recent amendment to national security-related investments. The minister said by raising the minimum investment threshold from $15 million to $100 million, the government aims to strengthen the nation's sovereignty and security without placing undue strain on public finances. The amendment marks a pivotal change to the presidential decree regulating cross-subsidy investments. By establishing higher thresholds for eligible projects, the policy underscores the administration's commitment to fortifying the country's security framework through strategic private investments. These provisions reflect the broader scope of the Maldives Tourism Act, which enables the Tourism Ministry to allocate uninhabited islands and lagoons for tourism development. Such initiatives are designed to align with government strategies promoting economic and social advancement. Section 5J3 of the Tourism Law mandates the publication of minimum investment requirements for projects operating under the cross-subsidy model. Global shares edge higher in choppy trading, while safe haven gold soared to a record peak as markets awaited details of US President Donald Trump's reciprocal tariffs.
Investors are nervously awaiting a day Trump has dubbed Liberation Day, when he has promised to unveil a massive reciprocal tariff plan. The Office of the U.S. Trade Representative released its annual report on foreign trade barriers on March 31st, which contained scores of other countries' policies and regulations it regards as trade barriers. Yet it was unclear how the 397-page report would impact Trump's reciprocal tariff plans.
I think for the markets, the big issue here really is the uncertainty. I think markets would like to get it over and done with. Tell me what it is, let us adjust, and let us get on with it. It's this back and forth, what we're going to do, what we're not going to do, the fear of what they're going to do, we're going to do this, and then we're going to delay the announcement. And it's this uncertainty issue that's really bothering the markets more than I think the tariffs themselves.
On Wall Street, all 3 indexes were trading higher after losing ground earlier in the session, with gains in consumer discretionary communication services, consumer staples, and technology stocks being offset by losses in healthcare and financial equities.
Wall Street benchmarks end in mixed fashion after a topsy-turvy session as investors were caught in limbo ahead of the impending tariff announcements from the Trump administration.
Financial markets have been volatile in recent weeks as investors assess the economic fallout of U.S. President Donald Trump's extensive tariff plans, which have sparked worries about a U.S. economic slowdown and higher inflation.
This week there is just so much focus on what's going to be announced tomorrow after the close that coming off of this choppy Q1, it feels like it's so important. It feels like it's a seminal event for the stock market. But I don't think that's what we're going to experience. I think that given our experience with our current administration, we're going to get a strong statement after the close tomorrow, but then I think we'll get this tail of adjustments and pushbacks and information from other countries. And so our stock market is still going to be trying to process information under this long tail of uncertainty.
Some of the uncertainty that has gripped markets is expected to dissipate after Trump unveils his tariff plan. However, while clarity on the specific tariff measures will be welcomed by investors, the overall backdrop is set to remain highly uncertain, making it difficult for markets to agree on directionality.
When consumers aren't sure what's happening next week, they pause. When business leaders are unsure, it's not that they're not going to commit capital. It's not that they're going to fire people. They say, let's take a pause. And we have a large part of our economy right now saying, let's take a pause. That doesn't mean we have a problem. It means there's not enough information for confidence to move forward. That's not a situation that's going to change real quickly in the market right now. But eventually we'll get increasing clarity, we'll get further in the year, we'll get further in this administration, and that uncertainty will go away and people will start taking the next step.
The S&P 500 gained 21.22 points, or 0.38%, to end at 5,633.07 points, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 150.60 points, or 0.87%, to 17,449.89. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 11.80 points, or 0.03%, to 41,989.96.
The United Nations dismisses as ridiculous an assertion by Israel that there was enough food in the Gaza Strip to last for a long period of time, despite the closure of all 25 bakeries in the enclave supported by the World Food Programme.
No aid has been delivered to the Palestinian enclave since March 2nd. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said it would not allow the entry of all goods and supplies into Gaza until Hamas releases all remaining hostages. Then later in March, Israel resumed its bombardment of Gaza after a 2-month truce and sent troops back into the enclave. Kogat, the Israeli military agency that coordinates aid deliveries, said on Tuesday that during the truce, some 25,200 trucks entered Gaza, carrying almost 450,000 tons of aid.
With the WFP closing all the bakeries and Israel still keeping all the borders closed, Israel says there's still enough food that was delivered to Gaza during the ceasefire. What is the UN's response to that?
As far as the UN is concerned, that's ridiculous. I mean, we are at the tail end of our supplies, of the UN, of the supplies that came in through the humanitarian route. You know, WFP doesn't close its bakeries for fun. If there's no flour, if there's no cooking gas, the bakeries cannot open.
Before the 2-month ceasefire, global food security experts warned in November that there was a strong likelihood that famine is imminent in areas of northern Gaza. Throughout the war, the UN has described its humanitarian operation in Gaza as opportunistic, facing problems with Israel's military operation, access restrictions by Israel into and throughout Gaza, and looting by armed gangs.
You just called that ridiculous. Kogat actually posted this, said that over 25,200 trucks entered Gaza during the 6 weeks ceasefire, and UN aid was less than 30% of the amount. And they said they calculated they should be enough for a long period of time in Gaza, and accusing Hamas of taking those food in position. Does UN know any of those circumstances from your 30% of the food?
I'm talking about the UN's humanitarian supplies. I answered that question, right? It is, I think what we saw during the ceasefire, when the parties were living up to their obligations as ceasefire, we saw humanitarian aid flood Gaza, right? We saw markets come back to life. We saw prices going down. We saw hostages released. We saw Palestinian detainees released. We need to go back to that.
Let me get down to this. Is this accusation of Hamas possessing the aid from UN NGOs are false?
The UN has kept a chain of custody, and a very good chain of custody on all the aid it's delivered.
Hamas said Gaza has reached a famine phase, describing it as one of the worst humanitarian crises in modern history. It said it held Israel full responsibility for the catastrophic human consequences increasing by the hour. The war in Gaza was triggered on October 7, 2023, when Hamas killed 1,200 people in southern Israel and took some 250 hostages, according to Israeli tallies. Since then, more than 50,000 Palestinians have been killed, according to Palestinian health authorities.
The NFL is considering hosting games in the United Arab Emirates in its effort to expand its global footprint.
The Los Angeles
NFL Executive Vice President Peter O'Reilly on Monday, March 31st, announced that the UAE and Greece are new markets under consideration for the league's Global Markets program.
You really look at where the opportunity is. You look at what's the state of the fan base today, where is there that interest, what does it look like, and then what does the potential look like? What's the potential to grow that fan base, build relevance? What are the barriers there? In some places, there may be real opportunity down the line, but there are a lot of barriers. So it starts with where can we really accelerate fandom and cultural relevance, and then what's the strategic and ultimately financial opportunity down the line. So we've obviously selected these new markets that we're going into very strategically. Brazil was that choice last year, Spain this year, Australia next year. We'll learn, and that's what we're doing.
The Washington Commanders, San Francisco 49ers, and Los Angeles Rams will have international marketing rights in the UAE, meaning that one or more of them would host a host game in Dubai or Abu Dhabi if the league moves forward with the proposal to ensure that local fans of the team's home cities would be able to watch them on TV.
A brilliant red diamond, one of the rarest gemstones on Earth, was unveiled as the newest addition to the gem collection at the Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History.
The 2.33 carat Scarlet Stunner is part of the Winston Red Diamond and Winston Fancy Color Diamond collection. The showpiece of the collection, the ruby-colored jewel, is considered a 1 in 25 million sort of a find.
Look, diamonds are rare to begin with, but color diamonds are incredibly rare, and this collection represents colors of the entire rainbow. You think, okay, who cares about a red or a purple or an orange or a green or a pink or a black diamond? The reality is that these things are from deep in the earth, and they tell stories about our planet's history. So they're both scientific specimens and objects of great beauty and wonder. So it's a great thing for a Natural History Museum to have a display in the room that contains the Hope Diamond, the 45.52 carat diamond given to us by Harry Winston in 1958. Now we have this incredible donation from his son, Ron Winston, of 41 color diamonds. So we've just expanded the story of the Hope Diamond and expanded the story of colored diamonds, and all that tells us about our culture, but also the planet's history.
Visitors to the museum will also have a chance to see the 40 other colored diamonds in the collection in shades ranging from teal to pink. The collection was presented to the Smithsonian by Ronald Winston, the son of famed jeweler Harry Winston. The new exhibit is located in the same room as another rare gem shared with the museum by the Winston family, the Hope Diamond.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for tuning in to PSN News. Wish you a pleasant day ahead.